We're asking ourselves, where are the blue oceans? Oh, geez, I can't be saying next slide. Now, can anybody tell us? I'm going to ask a question. I'll ask us a question. So we're going to see 3 different beaches, and I'll be giving out prizes to whoever can tell us where those beaches are. And you know that my prizes are usually very good prizes, if you know, right? Okay, so who knows where this is? Anyone? No, so please keep scrolling. Oh, geez, this is going to be quite difficult. Okay, you lose your game because technical didn't work well. I was going to ask you about the beaches, and I was going to show you the answers, and whoever had it was going to go out with a very good prize. So can you just go? But just look at the beautiful scenarios. There were 3 beaches, one from Seychelles, one from Greece, that's Navagio, and the third one from the Maldives. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I think my problem is the one I'm looking at. This looks like it's working well, right? Okay. So when you look at these beaches, and when you look at these oceans, what does it communicate to you? Now, I would like you to follow me on a journey because you will definitely get an idea, or you'll be able to modify the idea that would be probably the next breakthrough in Nigeria at the end of this session. What do they communicate to you? I wrote here, I said they communicate peace. That's the first thing I look at when I see a blue ocean like this. It communicates peace. It's serene. When you're talking about blue oceans, where are the blue oceans? People are thinking about businesses. Where are the blue ocean businesses? Oh, can you define what blue ocean means? Can you define what red oceans mean? But let's look at it from its natural word, as if we're just interpreting that word we've been given. A blue ocean communicates peace. So if you're in a business or you're running an idea that is really a blue ocean, there is something that it communicates to you, and that is peace. Peace is not the absence of, say, stress. It's not the absence of work. It's not the absence of waking up and running out. In fact, I was telling the organizers, I just came in from The Hague last night, I think around 10 o'clock, and I was out again this morning by 7 o'clock. But I'm quite peaceful. But it's taking a lot of work, right? It communicates peace. Next thing it communicates, I've written here, it communicates adventure. When you think about blue oceans, you think about you want to go to Seychelles, you want to go to Badagry. Is it still blue in Badagry? I don't know. But it communicates adventure. You just want to go out there. So when you're in a business or when you're pushing an idea that is really a blue ocean, there is that adventurous feel inside. And what does adventure bring to you? What does it inject inside you? What? Adventure, it just wakes you up. It's like you're taking loads of caffeine every day and you're so powered up. What's that hormone again they pump into someone when they want the person to? Adrenaline, yeah. I can remember when I went to jump with my daughter in December. We took what they call that in a skydive. So we jumped from the plane. Now, before you go to jump from the plane, you're so adventurous, yeah, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. By the time it's your turn to just, hey, all the adrenaline in your body, it comes alive, but it turns you to something else. It turns you to a champion. Someone that is usually very slow, usually very, very, maybe not too logical, someone that is not so fast. When adrenaline comes in, what happens? I remember as a student in my final year, thieves came into our hostel, and my cousin stayed in that particular hostel. She was staying behind the male side, so it backed itself. And when they had finished with the male hostel, I saw them they started going to the female hostel. And because I had a window facing that side, I saw them dragging people out, and you can imagine what they were doing. So immediately it just occurred to me, your cousin is actually in that hostel. So I called one or two friends, knocking on their walls, and we came out with sticks to fight people with what? With guns. Immediately we came out of the corner. Oh, finally. Immediately we came out of the corner. What happened? We just met these guys. The next thing, we turned and started running. I scaled the fence. Immediately I scaled the fence. I dislocated my ankle in a cassava farm, but I kept running. I only remember that my ankle was dislocated when I got to a destination that I thought I was safe. But good enough, they ran away because they felt people had gone out of the place. That is what adrenaline can do. If your business or your idea is really a blue ocean, then guess what? There will be so much fire. Probably the reason why you don't have fire in that business you're doing or that idea you're chasing is that it has not ticked the boxes of this blue ocean. The next thing that comes to mind when you talk about blue oceans, I have a pointer. Okay, it's working now. The next one, the previous one, is it communicates life. It communicates life. They'll tell you that water is life. Talk about blue waters. Talk about clear waters. When you are in a business that is really a blue ocean, or when you have an idea that is a blue ocean, just as much as it injects adrenaline into you, that it pushes so much passion, you'll find so much excitement even when you're tired. Like I would say, in the last 1 week, I think I've hardly had a straight 5-hour sleep or 4-hour sleep. So the body could be tired, which I should take care of, but I'm so lively because I found myself in a space that I think I can do what? Expand. I think I can impact. I can do a lot of stuff. There is another thing it communicates, a blue ocean. It's art. Art. You know, art is about design. It's about beauty. It's about logic. It's about making things appealing. It's about communicating. Ideas that are really blue ocean ideas are or businesses that are blue ocean businesses are things that are sort of artistic to the mind, artistic to the head, that when someone thinks about, you tell someone about the idea, they say, wow, it's so beautiful. Wow, I see it. There is that expression of art in a blue ocean. So we're just trying to look at what a blue ocean actually is. You still need to help me because this is not working. You know, do you see the contrast here? There's a blue ocean and you see the lady there taking a sun bath, and there's a red ocean with people swimming in what looks like blood, right? When you talk about red oceans, you're actually talking about blood. And why is it bloody in the red ocean? Why do you think so? Because for people to get ahead, they've got to stab themselves with so much knives. And many times they don't even know they're stabbing themselves. How do they stab themselves? Prize wars, unnecessary competition. They start dragging people down because I must get ahead. That's a red ocean. And we build a lot of red oceans in this country because we do a lot of what? Copy. So they tell you, immediately an idea comes in. When they just see it, 10 people are going to go after it, 20 people are going to go after it, 30 people are going to go after it. And they start doing what? They start building, they start bleeding. And they bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed. Maybe the person with the largest or the more liters of blood in his veins or in his body stays to be alive. But that's the difference. There's a blue ocean there and there's a red ocean. The red ocean talks about struggles. The blue ocean talks about what? Peace. It talks about life. It talks about adventure. It talks about art. It talks about many other things. That is what we feel when we think about a blue ocean. But what really is a blue ocean and where is it? Where can it be found? The first slide I wrote about where you can find the blue ocean is in 2 words: empathy and care. Blue oceans lie in empathy and care. I put two logos there of 2 companies that I'll tell you about: Health Tracker and Bloomers. Empathy and care. Don't forget about those words. At the peak of COVID, there was a problem. People that had malaria, people that suffered from typhoid and other sicknesses were scared of going to the hospitals because they were scared of getting what? Typhoid. On the one hand, and on the second hand, there was a lockdown. And the people that even had COVID found it difficult to get tested because we didn't even have home test kits. Sometimes they were faulty, even the ones that we had. So a young lady that used to work for a laboratory decided to start doing home testing. They go to your house, they take your sample, go to the lab, test it, and deliver the result to your email address. It started with what? COVID. And immediately they realized, if we can do it for COVID, that's during the COVID period, we can do for malaria. After all, if the person tests positive for malaria, we can actually take care of the person in his house or in her house. That is worth empathy. When you have empathy and you demonstrate care, guess what? The ideas start popping. It's possible many other people were thinking about how do we make money from this situation, but someone looked and said, there is an opportunity here to help people, to make life better for people. And they decided to go about it. They didn't have all the money. They started with one bike, one vehicle. They didn't start with an app. They started with a basic portal. They started with WhatsApp, and people could make those requests. And today, they're an ex-Techstars Toronto. They've raised monies. They are valued at over $10 million in less than how many years? And I know they are growing. I'm invested in them. They are growing, and we'll still hear a lot more about their story. Bloomers is an idea myself and my wife actually birthed. What happened? Once upon a time, my wife was called to come pick our daughter, our second daughter, from school. Why? She was not feeling fine. And when we got there, we found out that she had what? Mumps. And we're like, how come? How would she have mumps? I thought we vaccinated them. And when we checked for the, the card, we found out that she actually missed that particular vaccine. I don't know how it happened, and it took us a long time before we even found where we kept the card. That and an experience I had in the office where I had a staff that gave birth to her children in January and December, January and December the same year, and she was always out of work because she was going to immunize her kids. And I discussed with my wife and said, hey, we believe many families will be having this challenge of keeping track with kids' vaccines. And if we don't do something about it, maybe worse diseases will happen to parents that ab initio cared but just missed something. I would have wallowed in self-pity and said, oh, well, I've taken care of my daughter's own, but there are other people that this could help. And that's how Bloomers came about, an application that helps keep track of children's vaccination, stores their vaccination cards electronically, and from city to city will start delivering that vaccination in their homes. It's what? Empathy and care. And now that I've told you, I'm sure some mothers in this place will say, it's true. This thing will really work. Oh, that is the art. That is the piece, but it takes a lot of work. Next slide. Blue oceans are in skill and selflessness. There are 3 companies here. The first one is Tesla. If you look at the vision of Tesla, it will tell you that we want to accelerate the world's advancement, something like that, advancement towards the use of clean energy. They think that the world is being burnt down by fossil fuel and all the rest. And they say, how do we contribute our quota to advancing this move? And to do that, they said, we're going to do an electric car. Before the Tesla, there were a lot of electric cars, expensive ones, high-end, for the rich. But these guys decided to do an electric car that would rival in pricing with any other car. But they were skilled, mind you, very intelligent people. The next one there is fusion. You know, the fusion people will probably say something about what they're doing, but have you ever thought of disintermediating the financial institutions in the world? Why should someone stay between you and somebody else when you want to do a transaction? The major thing there is what? Trust. You don't know the person. You can't trust the person. So how do we begin to build that trust? That trust is built in communities, and that's what Fusion is trying to do. A social, financial institution that will build communities. Yes, they would begin to offer the financial services themselves, but as they build the communities and the communities grow and trust is created, using technology, they will back out and allow people to interact between themselves. If I need money, I already know you, I know your credit score, and I have a mechanism of collecting my money from you. Wherever your money is in this country, I'll give it directly to you. I don't need to give it to the bank. That is what? Skill in play, and what? Selflessness. Because they would have said, we're a financial institution and we want to maintain status quo. But they said status quo cannot, for you to actually excel in life, you've got to do what? Disrupt yourself. The third one is Facebook. Now, Facebook is a little bit controversial because of the way it came about. You know, the guy putting on, what was the first names of face? There was a company he put up, or a portal he put up, where you upvote between 2 ladies who's prettier. Let me tell you, young men discuss ladies, you know, the teenagers, the young adults, they just want to know, and what did he do? You might call it was not probably very moral, and he actually hacked into the school database. But he was helping his guys upvote ladies, get the data of ladies, so that when they want to chase them, they can chase them better. But that's skill and selflessness. It was never about him. Zuckerberg never went to make money when he put on Facebook. And when people argue that, the way he even started, or privacy issues, I argue and I tell people that Facebook has done more good in this world than it has done bad. It's the truth. Connected you to your friends, made you expand your businesses. That is skill and selflessness. The third slide on where are the blue oceans? They're in impact and sustainability. At the turn of COVID, schools were down. While schools abroad were still on, the ones in Nigeria, they were not on strike, but they could not offer their services. That is where Unify was born. Unify said, Nigerian federal and state institutions are struggling to go digital. So we're going to build a platform that is going to translate everything they do manually to its digital format. So you have your classrooms, you have your exams and records, you have your everything in digital form, so that if FUTO or IMSU is on Unify today and there is a lockdown, they will not be locked down. And Unify is doing this thing for free. They've gone to source the funds through a donor agency, and they say, we are transforming our universities. If you can bring your university on Unify, you stand to get 1 million naira from Unify. Short period, 3 months. I just made this offer. The Unify people are probably somewhere around here, and they'll be wondering where I'll get the money from. But really, that's an offer here. Now, second, impact and sustainability. You ask me how they will make money Unify. Don't worry, if you're an investor, you will find out. But it came from where? impact. It is so large. Let me blow your mind. Can you imagine having 500,000 tertiary institutions, tertiary school students, undergraduates in one platform? Now, the business people here know that will be mind-blowing. You can find a way to monetize it. There is another company here, Impact and Sustainability, Waste Bank. We struggle a lot with waste in Nigeria. We struggle a lot with waste everywhere. The erosion is caused by waste, blocking everything. And these guys came up and said, hey, we're going to pay you for every waste you gather. And I know what they're building. They've not launched. They're building a system where when it's just like an ATM, you're going to deposit money. As you go and you're putting your what's it called, your waste that you've gathered into the system, you'll be getting direct credit alerts on your phone. So let's say a bottle of water, empty bottle of water, is valued at for them 5 naira. As you drop it into the electronic system, you get a 5 naira what? Alert on your phone. That is impact and sustainability. Next slide. I'll tell us a story of this man and this woman. And that's where I'm going to close here. This man, it's a story that's adapted from the Bible, a real story. There's this woman that came to fetch water from a well, and there was a man there that was sitting down, and he was thirsty. I don't know. Or maybe he was trying her out. And he said, give me water to drink. And this woman started being transactional. What will you give me if I give you the water? What will you do? You know, many times when we want to set out for business, we're thinking about that thing that gives us a profit. You're thinking about that thing that gives us a profit. And that's how you start up your business. But blue oceans are not like that. Blue oceans, when you start your blue ocean strategy, they are not businesses that you start with naira and kobo. They are businesses you start with empathy, skill, sustainability in mind. So she went into this transactional conversation, and he turned to her and said, listen, if you know who was asking you for this water, you would not even just give him water, but you will ask him for the water he will give to you. Because that water he will give to you will transform you to a person, and out of your bellies will start flowing rivers of living water. Now, do you know what he was talking about there? He said, this well that you are being transactional about is very finite. The water there is finite and it finishes. The water there is for everybody. But if you get the one, this blue ocean I can give to you, what happens? Out of your bellies will flow rivers of living water. That you're no longer in contested waters. You begin to generate ideas. They say, where are the blue oceans? The blue oceans are not in naira. They are not in dollars. They are in empathy. They are in skill. They are in art. They are in sustainability. The blue oceans are inside of you. Don't go out thinking of the idea to copy. Go in and think about the thing you want to solve for Nigeria. What you want to solve for Owerri. What you want to solve for the Southeast. And therein lies your blue ocean. Will people start copying you when you are successful? Yes, but you will be too large to be copied. People say that when people pray and say witches should not eat their money, I say, why should I pray about that? Who will feed the witches? The witches need to eat because they have to eat. But the problem is that you have so small, your money is too small, right? That is why you're praying against witches eating them. And that's the thing about blue oceans. When people start copying your blue ocean idea, you're not concerned. Because you need more people to play in the space. Because you're more concerned about what happens to the world. Men and brethren, your disruptive idea is inside of you. If you identify that spot of empathy in you, if you identify that spot of care in you, if you identify that thing that wants to make life better for the next person, then you're about to hit your blue ocean. Thank you.
I was expecting a standing ovation.